like a rocket in a burst of vainglory. A month on the AMP Studios' factory-like production line usually brought them back down to earth. From the car, a male voice shouted, "Hurry up, Pops, and open the gate! Hold your horses, I'll be there in a minute." Ernie said amiably, "I'll push your horses right up your ass if you don't get a move on." Ernie was old and slow and utterly harmless, and Nessheim leaned over to get a look at the speaker. He could make out the profile of a young man's square-chinned face, a blue short-sleeved shirt, and two hands drumming impatiently on the steering wheel. "Take it easy," Nessheim called out through the passenger side window. "Says who?" "Says me," said Nessheim. "Does me want to have horses shoved up his ass, too?" Nessheim was usually slow to anger, but this guy had jump-started the process. He opened his door and got out to confront him. But just as he stood upright again, the other driver accelerated. His car was so close to the wooden barrier that at first it bent slowly back like a hunting bow, then suddenly snapped like a toothpick. The car surged through. As it sped out the gates, the driver extended his middle finger in farewell. Nessheim looked at Ernie. "Who the hell was that?" Ernie shrugged. "Some smart-ass kid. He parked in Mr. Pearl's place, but when I asked, Rose said it was okay." Rose was Pearl's secretary. "Well, Pearl's the boss." Nessheim pointed to the ragged wooden stub, all that was left of the exit barrier, "though I don't think he's going to be happy about that." He waited while Ernie lifted the entry bar, then drove into the studio grounds. He went past the long windowless wall of Studio 1, then by the executive offices. They were housed in a 3-storied stucco building with wide gables and 2 decorative but entirely redundant chimneys. In front, there was a short strip of carefully tended lawn, and a row of small palm trees planted the spring before. In the distance, at the back of the lot, sat Studio 2, recently built to help the fledgling studio's push into A-movies. It was immense, the size of an airplane hangar, 60 feet high and a football field long, with vast doors that slid open on tracks. Its sheer size made it easy to overlook the low-slung building that ran between it and the executive's offices, and was more like a Nissen hut than a proper building. Single-story, it had a foundation of concrete blocks supporting painted walls of metal sheets and a slanted tin roof. Here worked the studio's roster of writers, as well as Nessheim, if you could call it work. Parking in front, he paused at the entrance to let a workman come out first. He was carrying a stuffed armchair, and Nessheim watched as he dumped it unceremoniously on the pavement outside, where it would sit until the owner, some writer whose contract hadn't been renewed, came to collect it. Nessheim had seen it happen often enough. There was a high turnover among the script-writing ranks. As Tights, a long-term survivor, had remarked, the bad ones got canned, and the good ones left for better places to work. Nessheim walked down the thin central corridor, which a resident wit had nicknamed the Inkwell. It split the offices, from which he heard the sporadic clack of typewriters and the more consistent noise of people talking. He stopped halfway down at an open door. Looking in, he saw that Lolly Baker, the single secretary for the entire roster, wasn't there. Otherwise, half the writers would have been there too, gathered around the coffee urn, flirting with her. Less than 50 yards away in either of the 2 studio sound buildings, there were women galore. Chlorines and showgirls, child star wannabes and romantic heroines, secretaries and makeup artists and assistants. But since the writers were banned from going on set, these women might as well have been a mile away. The writers occupied tiny cubicle-sized offices and were made to double up, working in conditions so cramped that one of them had once complained he had to go outside just to change his mind.